last Friday, President Obama comes out, talks about NSA, says, oh, well, you know what? Brand new idea. Let's do transparency. Wow, that's interesting. So he comes up with 3 different points of substance that he'd like to do. He says the government's position should be challenged by an adversary in the FISA court. That's really important. I'm glad he said that. That's substantive. Agreed. Check. Okay. Now, he says there should be some declassification of key NSA documents. Yeah, Snowden already did that. Check. Okay. He says there's going to be a website set up for transparency. That website is, of course, going to just tell their legal justifications for doing all the things that they already do. It's not going to tell you anything new. It is inconceivable. Now, the third part is really interesting. They say that there's going to be a formation of a high-level group of outside experts to review our entire intelligence and communications technologies. Interesting, because today we found out who's going to be leading that group. Let me quote the Washington Post. The panel will be chosen by and report to Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper. Hashtag, oops. Wait a minute, how is it an outside group if it's chosen by the guy they're supposed to be reviewing and it reports to the guy they're supposed to be reviewing? And James Clapper, by the way, of course, the guy who went in front of Congress and absolutely lied, saying that they were not collecting data on millions of Americans. Later, he said that was an erroneous statement. That was the least untruthful thing he could say. That's the guy who's in charge of the independent outside review panel? This is a joke of epic proportions. Hashtag LOL. And there are other sides of the group won't turn out quite the way the president described it on Friday. Friday's speech talked about the need for input from outside experts with independent points of view. The president made no mention of the need for outsiders or independent viewpoints in his memo to Clapper. Well, how about the fact that Snowden had nothing to do with this? President Obama promised us that during the press conference. Are you kidding me? Snowden? What name so? Well, let's go to the president.
Unfortunately, rather than an orderly and lawful process to debate these issues and come up with appropriate reforms, repeated leaks of classified information have initiated the debate in a very passionate but not always fully informed way.
Wait. Are you trying to imply that we would have had this debate in an orderly way if it wasn't for Snowden? Can you remind me again who's preventing this debate? Was it Snowden? Was he the one bottling it up? I believe it was you, Mr. Obama, who was totally preventing the debate in the first place. Okay, more.
But given the history of abuse by governments, it's right to ask questions about surveillance, particularly as technology is reshaping every aspect of our lives.
Well, are you not merciful? Why, you will allow us to ask about what our government is up to. Why, thank you, President Obama. We really appreciate it. Well, tell me more about Snowden and whether he's a patriot or not. He was asked, had a fascinating answer.
No, I don't think Mr. Snowden was a patriot. As I said in my opening remarks, I called for a thorough review of our surveillance operations before Mr. Snowden made these leaks. The fact is that Mr. Snowden's been charged with 3 felonies. If, in fact, he believes that what he did was right, then, like every American citizen, he can come here, appear before the court with a lawyer, and make his case.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, no, I had this thing, this independent review board was just about to get started when Snowden revealed all that information. All that lying we were doing to you before to cover it up, we were just about to change direction before Snowden came out. How do you say that with a straight face? I don't think anybody inside the White House believes that. Certainly no one outside of the White House believes. That is comical. I literally laughed out loud when I first saw that. We were just, hashtag get out of here, man. That's crazy talk. And then, Snowden must be guilty. Why? Well, I've charged him with 3 felonies. But wait. That was your decision. You can't say, well, he's not a patriot because I charged him with 3 felonies. And he says, well, he could have just turned himself in. I mean, you remember what we did to Bradley Manning? The United Nations described it as degrading and inhumane behavior. Even our own military justice said we had to knock off time from his sentence because it was so cruel and degrading what we had done to Bradley Manning. And by the way, we also didn't give him justice or even a trial for 3 years. I don't know why Snowden would be on the run. Why wouldn't he just trust President Obama? Why didn't he just turn himself in and say, President Obama, I know you're about to reveal this program anyway. I'm so sorry for beating you to the punch by just nanoseconds, but here, cuff me. Yeah, that would have been the smart way to go. This is a preposterous, ridiculous press conference. And honestly, Obama's embarrassing himself. And here he is, does it again.
If you look at the reports, even the disclosures that Mr. Snowden's put forward, all the stories that have been written, what you're not reading about is the government actually abusing these programs and listening in on people's phone calls or inappropriately reading people's emails. What you're hearing about is the prospect that these could be abused. Now, part of the reason they're not abused is because these checks are in place. And those abuses would be against the law.
First of all, wiretapping all 300 million Americans is already abuse. You don't have to then go in and target political opponents for it to be called abuse. And by the way, it's also illegal. That is not what Section 215 of the Patriot Act says. And in fact, the authors of Section 215 of the Patriot Act says, we didn't intend that. That is not legal what you're doing, and it's also unconstitutional. So the abuse isn't later when we take that information and use it against our political opponents. The abuse is when you collect the information of American citizens and violate their privacy and violate the Constitution while you're doing it. And then, second of all, to say that you're never going to abuse it is comical when, over the weekend, General Hayden, who used to head this NSA, came out and said, oh, if there's another attack, we could use that information much more thoroughly. Nice, ominous warning for what the government can do with the information they have already collected. All right, this nonsense from President Obama continues.
I'm also mindful of how these issues are viewed overseas, because American leadership around the world depends upon the example of American democracy and American openness. Because what makes us different from other countries is not simply our ability to secure our nation, it's the way we do it, with open debate and democratic process.
How does anybody take this guy seriously anymore? Open debate, open process? You're the one who snuffed out the debate in the first place. You're the one that closed the process 100%. And then when Snowden revealed it and actually opened the debate, you charged him with 3 felonies. How does that make you different than other countries that aren't so open? Now, this is preposterous. One more.
There's no doubt that Mr. Snowden's leaks triggered a much more rapid and passionate response than would have been the case if I had simply appointed this review board to go through and I'd sat down with Congress and we had worked this thing through. I actually think we would have gotten to the same place, and we would have done so without putting at risk our national security and some very vital ways that we are able to get intelligence that we need to secure the country.
Is anyone really dumb or disingenuous enough to believe that we would have gotten to the same place? That, oh my, if Snowden hadn't come out, President Obama was just about to get to the same place where he revealed all this information about how they were secretly spying on all Americans and covering it up and lying about it. He was just about to do it. And, oh, Snowden, the way he has hurt our national security, really? How? Name one way he's hurt it. The only thing he's done is he has revealed what you now admit is true and that Congress didn't even know. And certainly the American people didn't know. You're supposed to be our representatives. You're supposed to be our president. You never told us. Snowden told us. So please spare me the bullshit as you come out here with your press conference and tell us, oh, I would have done it anyway without Snowden. What an unbelievable and ridiculous lie.